welcome to our great expert battle. I have promised you two very strong opinion leaders with a very different point of view on the whole topic of artificial intelligence. So let's ask them, AI beyond the hype. Please welcome on stage Pip Klöckner, investor and advisor for digital marketing and organic growth. Most of you know him probably from the Doppelgänger podcast. Here is Pip. Good to have you, Pip. Choose a table that you prefer. And our second expert is Jürgen Geuter. He's research director at Art.com, an independent writer and theorist, formerly known as Tante. Tante, welcome to the stage. Pleasure to have you. So we are very much looking forward to the upcoming 30 minutes. I hope you deliver the expert battle as we expected. About the structure of the next 30 minutes, I will give the both of them 3 minutes each to speak freely about what they are thinking about the topic of artificial intelligence. Afterwards, I have prepared some sentences, some questions about AI that I have found somewhere in the internet. It's not only journalistic content, it's also, I've looked at forums, like a really dark content. I will ask them these questions or sentences, and they have to give us their opinion on it. And afterwards, I have promised you that we have 10 minutes of time for your questions. So this is really a unique opportunity to ask Pip and Tante anything you would like to know. Okay? That's about the structure for the next minutes. I would say we start with the 3 minutes of free speech. Pip, you go first. And your topic is fire, electricity, AI, the natural evolution. Here we go.
Thank you. So let me start by saying that I have deep respect and appreciation for Tante's work, and I'm 100% sure that we agree on more things than we disagree on. The second thing is, if you listen to our podcast, you know I'm far from being a technology optimist. I'm actually quite skeptic and critic about lots of the developments in Silicon Valley and their protagonists. However, for today, I will take the role as the ultimate AI optimist. And I will actually reproduce the words of one of these protagonists, which is Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, who said that the AI might be the more profound technology compared to fire and electricity. What fire, electricity, and AI have in common, I think, is that they are general-purpose technologies. If you want to say AI is one technology, obviously it's a bit fuzzy thing, but let's call it machine learning or deep learning. These are general-purpose technologies that will advance humanity, that will enable lots of features and innovations in the future, or have enabled that in the past, and that combines them. And however, I think AI is the one technology that will actually transcend human capabilities and knowledge, and that's why it's a totally different animal. For example, it will help us to understand our planet and the universe better. It already can help us understand animal voices better. I bet within 10 years, most of you will have stopped eating animal food, for example, or like animal meat, as you start to hear the voices of animals enabled through AI. And of course, with such a powerful technology, there are lots of challenges, risks, and responsibility that humankind has to face. However, I think we must not decelerate that technology, because I think what it enables in less developed countries, for example, for people, like real solidarity for me is thinking about the people that for the first time in their lives get access to affordable healthcare, to affordable education, and such things through the event of AI. And that's why I strongly believe in the company, and I hope, and I know that's a big challenge, that it will be more evenly and just distributed among the people than former technologies ever have.
Pip, thank you very much. I would say, Tante, your 3 minutes are running now.
Thank you. Yeah, again, I also don't think that we're going to really fight and launch fists and whatever. Like the question was, is fire, electricity, and AI, is that just the natural evolution of things? And I mean, technology looks like, history looks like a line only when you're looking back. Like when you're in the middle of things, there's always different pathways, and you never know which is gonna work really, which is gonna work out. So it's hard to to even claim that something is the end of a line currently. So it's a bit of a weird question. Also, it's like a category error because fire and electricity are properties of the physical realm, whether humans are there or not. AI is really an empty signifier. It doesn't mean anything, really. It can mean everything. It can be a large language model, or it can be a rule-based system. It can also be a dude in India who answers your phone. Like, we slap the AI label on anything. It doesn't really mean anything, but if it means anything in the technological space today, it's automated statistics. And if I asked you, is automated statistics the future of human evolution, you'd laugh me off the stage for a good reason, because that's a ridiculous statement. Yes, we've done statistics for a long time. Statistics is useful. We're doing a bit more of it to pump NVIDIA stock, but it's still just statistics. Big whoop. I mean, it's cool, but it's just statistics. It's not that big of a deal. And I think when we're talking about innovation, we really have to talk about things that change things, like fire and electricity change how human beings live together. Do we really think that the mediocre systems we have today will do that? Will they change how cities are built? They won't, probably. A few weeks ago, the Rand Corporation released a study analyzing AI projects in the real world currently, and they said 80% of AI projects fail. Mostly because no one has the data to do much useful stuff, and because these systems can't do what salespeople claim they can do. On the other hand, we see studies upon studies showing that the gains in productivity that LinkedIn AI influencers claim are not real. Like that checking the output of these systems costs as much, if not more, than just doing the work. And on the other hand, we see that that many people don't use these systems because we have to care about the quality of our work. We can't just throw something out and say, yeah, maybe it's right. That's not good enough for us if we are gainfully employed, probably. But there's always the idea, it will be better soon. That's like self-driving cars. They're always 5 years in the future, for like 25 years now. And we're repeating the same mistake. Like we're trying to like guide people on their AI journeys and tell people how to adapt AI, but that's backwards. That's not how innovation works. Innovation is not about, we have this tech and you have to implement this tech. It's about, I have an actual problem and then I'm going to look at what's there and I might use machine learning, but I need to have an actual problem first to solve. Like, what do these things do in the real world when we're not talking about fantasy world of 5 years when everything's being done automatically? 2020, Microsoft claimed to be carbon negative by 2030. That claim is out of the window now, like because they do AI, their carbon emissions increased in the last year by 30%. That's great. We see fossil fuel burning power plants being spun up again because we need the power for the data centers for generative AI, because the slop that we're generating is really worth all that. And I think that if we look at problems, we have too little mediocre, potentially false text. Is that a real social problem that we need to focus on? I don't think so. So I think that the AI is not the big revolution or evolution, as it was claimed. It is a thing that's taking up a lot of headspace currently. We're talking a lot about what to do with AI instead of talking about actual problems, like, for example, climate change, which, as I just said, AI will make worse. So I think we should stop looking so much at AI, thinking, okay, machine learning is nice, we can use it in a few situations, but let's get back to work and focus on actual problems.
Tante, thank you very much. There were a couple of things that I would like to address later on, especially the topic of the climate change. By the way, you don't have to fight, especially not physically. I just wanted to mention that. And also in an expert battle, it's absolutely okay if you are on the same side of opinion. That's what I just wanted to address to you.
Stop eating meat. That's just a good idea, whether you hear the animal or not. Just stop it.
I finished just 20 years ago. It's a good idea, I can tell you. Okay, perfect. So thanks for your first opinion right here to the audience. As I mentioned in the beginning, I have prepared some questions and some sentences that I have found somewhere in the internet. It's headlines from newspapers, it's just sentences I found in forums where people are talking about artificial intelligence. And I just want to address them to you, and you feel free to answer and ask whatever you want. You can also add each other, no worries about that. The first sentence I found is, the AI winter is coming. Without breakthroughs, investments and innovation will sharply decline.
Well, pretty much obviously I'm of the opinion that the next AI winter is going to come. And I'm not the only one. Like Sequoia Capital, not known for being part of a Luddite communist conspiracy, like they said, yeah, if AI needs to generate at least 60 billion in the next years in revenue to get back all the money that all the companies spent. And Gartner said, yeah, there's a lot of hype, but not a lot of actual projects. Like this thing is deflating as we're looking at it. It will take a long time because so many big players like Microsoft bet the house on it, Google bet the house on it, because I mean, the whole AI hype is really just an illustration of the lack of ideas in the tech sector. Like they haven't come up with anything new since this. Like what really relevant came after this? Nothing. So they're just trying to tie their wagon to AI, and it's not really paying out. So yeah, I'm quite sure that there's gonna be a crash of some sort, and a lack of, and some tech will stay around. Machine learning is useful. Like I learned that in my study, and I'm an old man. Like that's many more years ago than I'd like to admit. It's a useful thing, but like the whole AI moniker and everyone has to do AI, it's gonna die because it doesn't bring the benefits that are sold.
Is the huge AI hype already over?
Yeah, like we're using hype like it was a bad thing. And there are some stupid hypes like cryptocurrencies, metaverse, which you probably agree on, NFTs, etc. However, a hype, there's a typical Gartner hype cycle. So it's very normal for new or novel technologies to face a hype. And then there's this valley of disillusionment, and then there's a very productive phase in the end. At one point around the 2000s, the internet was called a hype. Like there were billions invested. Cisco was one of the biggest companies of the world. Today it isn't anymore. However, today the Nasdaq, which is almost only consists of software and internet companies, is worth $22 trillion. So ultimately, the technology obviously has pushed through and created lots of wealth and productivity. So I'm very aware of the risk that there will be some kind of AI winter, or people will be disillusioned, disappointed by the results. However, I also think that the positive effect of these hypes is that people overinvest in this technology and they force a certain breakthrough, which could sometimes take just a few months, and sometimes it will take a decade. And I don't care how long it takes. I just want this company, I just want this technology to succeed. And I'm confident.
What shares do you have from which company? No, just kidding.
I'm invested in lots of technology companies. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I totally agree that like hype is not always a bad thing. Like I want hype for solar, I want hype for stop eating meat, I want hype for many things to get people to actually do it. And yes, in technology also you need the hype to get like the C-levels to put some money into things so people can actually test things out, like experiment with technology, see what can actually improve processes, working conditions, whatever, build better products. I just have the feeling that like the current crop of AI has been around for like a few years now, and everyone's been dicking around with it, and no one has really shown the big results that anyone would expect by now. And that's I think what's gonna make it hard to keep this investment that's necessary to keep these things running going.
And the pace.
Yeah. Like a few concrete results I deeply care about. It's like one, the access to affordable medicine. So there's this Gemini model of Google, which now has a precision of 94%. So medical questions, it answers with a 94% precision. You would say you don't want to go to a doctor with a 94% precision. However, your doctor has an 87% precision if it's a good doctor already. Then I think the impact that AI already has on leveraging science is huge. Like we found new antibiotics. Like for 60 years, mankind hasn't developed any new antibiotics. People are dying with these hospital germs, and now we have 2 new candidates to kill those. That have been created by AI. We will find replacement for lithium in batteries through AI. So I think the impact on science is already very, very profound.
Perfect.
It is just like because of the AI moniker, people conflate all these things. Yes, the things you described. These are very specific machine learning models that are built purposefully for those. That's not your ChatGPT that you ask, build me a better battery. Like those purpose-built models usually require a lot less resources, a lot fewer resources. They don't have like this. We don't need new data centers all over the planet to get these things going.
I think we shouldn't expect like one AI genie where we can fire all our questions, but the future of AI and what will bring us closest to some kind of general AI will be a mix of experts or compound model that basically kind of funnels your query to the most fitting model. And if you just want to reproduce knowledge, then it will be some kind of LLM. If you need reasoning, it will be something like the new O1 model or an iteration of that by OpenAI. If you want to do a conversation, it will be a different model. And I think like we shouldn't judge everything on will LLMs be able to solve all problems, because for sure they won't.
Perfect. I think we have to stop here. I should have mentioned in the beginning that I have prepared 9 sentences for you. We have 4 minutes left for the other 8 ones. The next one. AI will further deepen social inequality as only big companies and elites will benefit from it.
Yeah. I unfortunately agree with that. However, most technologies have kind of widened the gap between rich and poor people, which is sad. Like we should work to compensate for that. However, also most technologies have brought more people out of absolute poverty. And as I said before, like through education, access to healthcare, access to better crop technology, to do better Agrarwirtschaft. I don't know the English word. So that will help more people to get out of poverty. However, I totally agree. The big tech giants will get even more powerful.
Agriculture was the word. I was looking for it for 20 seconds now.
Yeah. We can act on that. That's the difference. Like most of the problems that we see or that we blame AI for are actually human problems. So stop blaming the technology for stuff that's actually up to us.
I totally agree. It will widen the gap. It will make it very visible that you can afford the better model in comparison to your poorer competitor or the kid in school that can only use AI and doesn't really get training by a human being that can actually react to them. And I totally agree, it's not really a technological problem. We have a magic solution for that. It's called taxing. Tax the rich. Billionaires should never exist.
What about the gap between the US and Europe? AI will widen the gap between the United States and Europe, solidifying US dominance in tech and innovation.
Sorry,
will the gap become bigger between United States, which is a tech driver for innovation, and Europe?
I would say it depends, if I may. So theoretically, I'd agree. However, if we can make this open source, mostly open source technology, which usually everything that's infrastructure in the internet, the Apache server, what's on my iPhone, on my Pixel phone, the thing in our cellular towers, that's still open source infrastructure and open source software. So if we continue to build like really independent open source models, I think it might distribute the technology at least more justly and evenly. However, generally, I think that the US, like the gap will widen between the US and Europe.
We also shouldn't forget that China is already a thing that exists and that is putting a lot of money into AI research and into building up their own infrastructure, their own processors and that kind of stuff. So yeah, Europe is going to play catch up again. But we're used to that. That's always what Europe does.
Exactly. The next one is generative AI will lead to a profound loss of trust in information and media over the time.
Yeah, that might be even from my presentation. Like I'm super convinced that just because the cost of creation of content are infinitely small right now, through all channels, SMS, messages, all the social networks, email, we can be bombarded with content, basically. And the problem is not even that we don't trust that content anymore, like that we don't, or we are manipulated by fake news. The problem is we won't even trust the real content, like the real facts anymore. So that's one of the biggest problems I see, and we need to find technology to solve that. Yeah.
Yeah. And like people, like the numbers are really scary is a stupid word, but like they are at least shocking a bit. Like in 2023, already more images that were generated by AI models existed than photos. And we take a lot of photos, like we do that a lot, and we have done that for a long time. And we already passed that barrier. Like we're drowning in generated stuff that is of sometimes dubious quality and dubious sources.
I actually had an AI fact check that, and I couldn't find, like, that AI, Perplexity, thought that in 2020, last year, there were like 115 billion AI-generated images. However, just with the iPhone, there are 3 trillion images created. So I'm not, like, I'd like to exchange sources on that, because I feel that that number might be wrong. So that's one of the good things about AI. You can easily, like, think of the presidential debate in the US, like you could immediately fact check with a certain amount of safety, obviously, what right-wing politicians are telling on TV, which no normal TV station can do. However, with AI, you are able to do that.
It's perfect that my next sentence addresses exactly to that topic. It is AI's role in content creation will make human creativity less valuable.
I work in a media studio, like that's my job, and yes, people are no longer willing to pay us what our work is worth. Like that just happened. Like it used to be, we created an illustration for them that they put on their museum wall, whatever, and now it's, yeah, we generated some shit with Midjourney, now fix it. But we're just going to pay, we're not going to pay you a day for it as we would have done. You get like an hour, you get like 2 hours to fix the thing. Yes, it devalues creative labor by exploiting the creative labor of all the people whose work was taken without compensation to put into these models.
Pip.
I'll take a controversial statement on that. So I think we're not over-exaggerating the capabilities of AI, but we're over-exaggerating our own capabilities. So even people that work in the creative industry, I would say 90% of their time they spend in emails, meetings, whatever, certainly not working creatively. And even what we call creative, so first when the model is creative, then we say it's hallucinating. Like we haven't even trained models to be creative. At the moment we're training them to be so we criticize them because they are creative, if they make up things, plus actually humans make up things as well. Like there's a lot of scientific proof that like we have nostalgia, we are omitting trauma in our memories. People in court trials can't even reproduce evidence correctly because our brains tricks us. So we are hallucinating all the time, plus lots of people are lying basically for purpose even. So I think lots of what we call productivity, which is we just put together a few experiences or impressions we ourselves had in the past and build something new, AI will be totally capable of that. Like I have high respect for art, for people who work creatively, but I would also say that AI can be the perfect tool to make their work even more capable and more astonishing to people.
Perfect. As I just took 2 minutes from you guys, a very quick last and final one. In the end, AI will make humanity obsolete.
No.
No.
Pip is still thinking. I thought that's a quick one from the both of you.
The sense of humanity or being human is not to be replaced by something else. And like I agree, at some point we might not be able to master AI entirely. But however, it will never make mankind obsolete. That I strongly disagree with.
Okay, perfect. Unfortunately, we will never find out what other awesome questions I had for you, because it's time for your questions now.
They're brilliant.
They are brilliant.
You missed out.
Absolutely. Maybe you can check on them, and we talk about it later. No, it's up to you guys. Time for your questions. We have 2 catch boxes, like this one. These are microphones, the green and the orange one. Who wants to ask a question? Just raise your hand, stand up, or otherwise I take your 7 minutes. Nobody, are you kidding me? It's Pip and Tante. Perfect, we have one over there. We bring the green catch box to you, which is, again, a microphone, and I'm looking forward to your question.
Hi, my name is Gus Barrett. I'm operating office for Design to Talk. We're one of the silver partners. The issue that we have is that we talk or see a lot about AI, but what everybody doesn't see is the practical adoption. So as you guys talked about electricity and fire before, fire got to steam got to the Industrial Revolution, electricity turned into Tesla cars, AI will do the same, all right? So it's just an adoption, an adaptation, and it's not about what it is. It's not about fire burning your finger. It's about the practical use of fire. It's the practical use of AI that we are interested in, right? So it's how do you make it viable for a person to call in and pick up your emails and answer your things and become the practical evolution that AI is meant to be. What I'm trying to ask as a question is, what do you guys see as the practical application for AI for SMEs? This is what this conversation was about. We know what to do. We're just asking the panel.
So I think AI is like the best way to distribute is AI without you even feeling you're using AI. So, and I think that's the way that many of the big tech companies will go, especially Apple. So actually, in many products we use is some kind of machine learning or AI already integrated, be it LinkedIn or Gmail or whatever. And on the other hand, I'd also say like this technology is still very young. Let's say like the transformer models, they are like 5 or 6 years old. And it's very early to judge how capable this technology is and what we can use it for. Like the first car, like the Benz motor wagon or motor carriage, had I think 0.6 horsepower. It was going 10 miles per hour. Everyone said that's slower than a horse. It's not as powerful as a horse, and it takes 10 liter per 100 miles. So what do we need it for? Plus, it makes people crazy. It will abolish jobs, etc. However, like a few years later, like we had cars like 10, 100 times more capable, faster, etc. And I totally agree. AI might not be there for certain use cases yet, but I wouldn't condemn the whole technology as a whole, like because. What we see is like very clear development. We see first use cases in science and medicine, in content generation, etc. But I do agree with the thesis for acceptance and large-scale adoptions. It needs better productizing of AI, and that I think most people in tech would agree with. Yeah.
Tante.
Before I worked at Art & Com, I used to work for a company who builds production planning systems and maintenance planning systems. And we've used those things like even before this thing was called AI. Like we called it machine learning because it works very well, for example, to predict when a certain production machine might break down. And an unplanned breakdown is a catastrophe, but knowing, okay, we have a problem here, we need to shift things around, allows you to avoid high costs, danger for the people working there and all that kind of stuff. That works, and that works well. Like a lot of but these systems are very focused and specific to the use case. If you're a company that has well annotated data that knows, okay, we've tracked our machine data over years, then you can really easily and quickly, given today's tech, build very useful systems. I probably wouldn't call them AI. It's just machine learning on data streams. It's basically signal processing. It's advanced signal processing using statistics. And that's massively useful for many aspects, but it's not we're replacing all the people. It's just a thing that the system, that the machine now does. It can tell you, I have a problem here. Like your card maybe tells you like the pressure in your tires is a bit low. But that's just a sensor, and with more complex processes. We had a project with a plastics producer where to know whether the production process was correct took 6 weeks for the stuff to just lay around till it settled. And we built a system where with infrared cameras and some machine learning, we could tell you whether the process was successful while it was running. That is a huge time saver, and that saves that avoids a lot of wasteful production and that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff to do, but like focused problems in your domain. Not like, okay, we're going to take this big LLM in and it does all the things for us. Like, no, this is what we know what to do. This is a problem we have, and now throw some data at it.
Okay, awesome. I would love to take the last 2 minutes for another question from our audience. We have one over there. Perfect.
Hi, I'm Michael. I have a question for you. Due to the lack of the natural intelligence in politics, how do you see the future of artificial intelligence in politics?
There's a saying. It's not super safe for work, but let's use it still. Fuck around and find out. Like that's how sometimes you work. Like you fuck around and then you find out what's going on. Politics is a lot about fucking around and finding out. The problem with machine learning systems and with AI is they can fuck around, but they can never find out. Like if I give you the ability to make decisions and you screw up, like you will be punished in some way, shape or form. The machine doesn't have that. Like, so these systems can never have these forms of agency of making decisions in politics or whatever. So they should stay out of politics, because politics is not something to optimize. Democracy is messy and takes a long time, but that's what democracy is. That's what it's for. Like the struggle is the point.
Absolutely. Pip, please keep in mind that these are the last words of the expert battle.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I believe that technology per se is objective. So it might help to do more rational decisions in politics and less polemic discussions, etc. However, the data we use currently obviously is heavily biased. However, again, that's a human problem. Like it was us creating that biased data. If we talk about HR processes or something, the reason why our HR AI is racistic is because our HR people were racist before. So most of the problems that we see in AI are not within the technology. The technology is quite good and on a good path to become like a very, very rational kind of companion. However, we obviously have to reflect on our own shortcomings, and we have to build a better world as humans, with humans, and then an AI can learn from us and do that even more efficiently and better in the future.
Wonderful. Pip, Tante, thank you very much. You did an awesome job in the past 30 minutes. It was kind of a battle. I liked that a lot. But also, thank you very much for sharing your opinion with us. This is your round of applause.